Bookies, welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about books that I think fit the aesthetic of Speak Now from Taylor Swift. So let's get started. Speak Now is Taylor Swift's third album, and she was still doing like a lot of like princessy vibes, I guess you would say. We got a little bit of that in Fearless. We leaned more into it and Speak Now. It was still a country album, but we had a lot of rock influences as well. Love the rock influences. Wish she would just make a rock album. Please make a rock album, please. Anyways, so I associate Speak Now with like stepping out, royal, finding yourself, which I feel like encapsulates a lot of the album. So I have a list of, how many books are on here? 6 books that I think fit this theme. The first one is The Poisons We Drink by Bethany Baptiste. This one is, in a country divided by humans and witchers, Venus Stoneheart hustles as a brewer, making illegal love potions to support her family. Love potions is a dangerous business. Brewing has painful, debilitating side effects, and getting caught means death or a prison sentence. But what Venus is most afraid of is the dark sentient magic within her. Then an enemy's iron bullet kills her mother. Venus's life implodes. Keeping her reckless little sister Janice safe is now her responsibility. When the powerful Grand Witcher, the ruthless head of her coven, offers Venus the chance to punish her mother's killer, she has to pay a steep price for revenge. The cost: brewing poisonous potions to enslave DC's most influential politicians. As Venus crawls deeper into the corrupt underbelly of her city, the line between magic and power blurs, and it's hard to tell who to trust, herself included. So this book has a lot of like stepping out into a new role and coming into her own for, you know, the coven. It was really good. I read it. I absolutely loved the book, and I highly recommend it. It's so good. I don't know if there's anything else that Bethany Baptiste has published. Oh, she did. Izzy, Hawthorne, Destiny Awaits. It is part of like a Disney series. It goes into Izzy's story, who is from The Adventures of Buzz Lightyear. She's a great writer. I would definitely check out more of her work. The next one that we have, which has a purple background, my favorite theme for this, is The Garden of Second Chances by Mona Alvarado Frazier. Juana, a 17-year-old mother, is sentenced to prison for murdering her husband. She claims she's innocent, but no one believes her, including the prison staff and a gang leader in her block who torments her. Juana's troubles aren't confined to prison, however. She's undocumented, and her husband's bereaved family is now threatening to take her baby from her forever. Feeling hemmed in on all sides and desperate to stay out of trouble, Juana creates her own refuge in the prison yard, a garden she created. As she digs in the soil, nurturing the plants, she remembers her courageous, long-deceased mother, who she knows would never give in or give up. Juana's only hope for saving herself and her baby is to prove her innocence, but how? This book goes a lot into detail about the juvenile justice system, which I thought was really interesting considering my legal background, and it like a lot about how the jail and prison system as a whole, even for juveniles, doesn't work exactly right. I will say that juvenile justice works a bit better, but it doesn't work exactly right. And it doesn't really stick true to its mission. I thought it was so good. And the reason why I put it for this is because it has Juana's journey to kind of step out and tell the truth of what happened, to stick to her gumption, and to find her own independence in figuring out how to get her and her daughter out of this mess. I read it. It was 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely love the book. The next one that I'm going to recommend is Twin Crowns. And this is dual authored by Katherine Doyle and Katherine Weber. The two Katherines spelled differently. It's kind of cool. I read this one previously. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I also need to catch up on the series because somehow this exploded into, there's 5 books in this series now. 5 books. I have a lot of catching up to do. Wren Greenrock has always known that one day she would steal her sister's place in the palace. Trained from birth to return to the palace of her parents' murder and usurp the only survivor, she will do anything to rise to power and protect the community of witches she loves. Or she would if only a certain palace guard wasn't quite so distractingly attractive, and if her reckless magic didn't have a habit of causing trouble. Princess Rose Valhart knows that with power comes responsibility. Marriage into a brutal kingdom awaits. She will not let a small matter like waking up in the middle of the desert in the company of an extremely impertinent and handsome kidnapper get in the way of her royal duty. But life outside the palace walls is wilder and more beautiful than she ever imagined, and the witches she has long feared may turn out to be the family she never knew she was missing. 2 sisters separated at birth and raised into entirely different worlds are about to get to know each other's lives a whole lot better, but as coronation day looms closer and they each strive to claim their birthright, the sinister king's breath, Willem Rathborn, becomes increasingly determined that neither will succeed, who will ultimately rise to power and wear the crown. Obviously, I chose this one because it has a lot of royal vibes, and a lot about love, which there is a lot of love in Speak Now. Another book, I rated 5 out of 5 stars for this, and it also has some purple vibes on the cover. It is Imogen, obviously, by Becky Albertalli. Imogen Scott may be hopelessly heterosexual, but she's got the world's greatest ally title locked down. She's never missed a Pride Alliance meeting. She knows more about queer media discourse than her very queer little sister. She even has 2 queer best friends. There's Gretchen, a fellow high school senior who helps keep Imogen biases in check. And then there's Lily, newly out and newly thriving, with a cool new squad of queer college friends. Imogen's thrilled for Lily, any ally would be. And now that she's finally visiting Lily on campus, she's bringing her ally A-game. Any support Lily needs, Imogen's all in. Even if that means bending the truth just a little. Like when Lily drops a little queer bombshell. She's told all her college friends that Imogen and Lily used to date. And none of them know that Imogen is a raging hetero. Not even Lily's best friend, Tessa. Of course, the more time Imogen spends with chaotic freckle-faced Tessa, the more she starts to wonder if her truth was ever all that straight to begin with. Again, this is another one about finding yourself, Imogen finding her bisexuality, and it's just so good. It's so good. Now, this one is a fun one. I really liked reading it. I wish that Allyson Dahlin would write more of these. It is Cake Eater, and it was kind of like a future set, Marie Antoinette. The description says she has 1 million followers on social media. She uses her fashion-forward eye to pick the perfect angle and filter on every photo. She's iconic. She's a trendsetter. She's Marie Antoinette. The year is 3070, and she arrived in the Frank Kingdom to marry the prince, secure an alliance, and rake in likes from her fans. Versailles is not the perfect palace Marie's seen on the apps. Her life is a maze of pointless rules, and the court watches her every move for mistakes. Her shy husband, Louis, is more interested in horses and computer hacking than producing heirs. Versailles seems like a dream full of neon-lit statues, handsome android soldiers, and parties till dawn. Under the surface, it's a creepy den of secrets, surveillance in Marie's bedroom, censored news feeds, and disappearing courtier. When Marie and Louis become king and queen long before they're ready to rule, any efforts to aid their suffering subjects are stamped out by the mega corporations of the First Estate. Between riots in Paris and image-wrecking social media firestorms, Marie can't afford to lose her head. Using her social media savvy and Louis hacking knowledge, they try to fix their reputations and change their kingdom for the better. But the royals may find it already too late. They're ruling over the end of an era. Royal vibes again. I just thought it was a really cool aspect, and it really goes into like kind of finding yourself. It does, like, I found it really cool that it stuck to a lot of the historical details about like Marie and Louis, and they just kind of intertwined it into this futuristic setting. It was really cool. I highly recommend it. And then the last book that I'm going to recommend is actually a series. It's the Selection series by Kiera Cass. In this one, we follow our main character. Her name is America, and it's set in a dystopian world where everyone is kind of split into rankings, but it's kind of like districts, kind of like Hunger Games. Anyways, America is like down towards poverty level. But she gets a chance to go and kind of play Bachelorette to this big Bachelor style phenomenon to find the prince of the kingdom's newest bride. It's very Bachelorette style, but with a dystopian aspect. There's also a love triangle because America just broke up with her boyfriend, but he kind of wants her back and yada yada. It's really cool. It's like a set of 3 books, and then there's two or three more set after involving America's child. That one wasn't as good. But again, I really like the whole series as a whole. I wish we just had more of it and more of the world building. Again, royalty vibes. So that is it for this video. So thank y'all for watching, and I will see y'all later. Bye.